The movie begins in a maximum security prison where a gang, thinking they're kings of the jungle, enters the bathroom to confront a man named Bone. Danny, ever the helpful cellmate, warns Bone about the imminent danger. As the gang leader threatens Bone for not joining their merry band, Bone casually takes off his shirt and gives them a chance to back off. The gang leader, clearly not the sharpest tool in the shed, mocks Bone and attacks. Bone quickly dispatches the leader and his cronies, leaving them wishing they had chosen knitting over gang life. After this impromptu self-defense class, Bone leaves prison and checks into a hotel. There, he meets Tamara, the outspoken owner, who makes it clear she doesn't want trouble. Bone, channeling his gentlemanly side, assures her he's just there for the continental breakfast. Later, he visits an underground fight arena where he watches Hammerman, James's undefeated fighter, beat an opponent senseless. Pinball, the fight organizer, is surprised when Bone appears in his car, not to steal it, but to request a fight with Hammerman. Pinball, seeing dollar signs, eventually agrees after Bone hands over his last $250, a small price for a front row seat to the beating Bone is about to deliver. Meanwhile, James, a man whose moral compass perpetually points south, receives a call from Franklin asking him to eliminate a guy named Daryl. James, ever eager to please, agrees. Later, during a dinner that would make Hannibal Lecter proud, James serenades Daryl before stabbing him, proving that in his world, dessert comes before murder. Bone, on the other hand, is climbing the underground fight scene faster than a cat video goes viral. He wins fight after fight with the efficiency of a Roomba on a clean floor. Tamara, noticing his injuries, tends to his wounds, and they grow closer during martial arts lessons. Bone's rapid ascent doesn't go unnoticed. James becomes interested, especially after Bone defeats Hammerman with the ease of someone who might secretly be Neo from The Matrix. In a twist that surprises no one, James invites Bone to dinner, probably to talk business. Fun fact, Blood and Bone was filmed in just 20 days on a modest $4 million budget, but became a classic in the action genre. If I were in Bone's shoes, I might reconsider facing 10 fighters at once. There's a fine line between bravery and insanity. Instead, I'd suggest a good chess match. Less blood, more strategy. It's interesting how Bone's calm demeanor contrasts with the violent world he navigates, highlighting the discipline inherent in martial arts. Bone shows up at James's house with Pinball. Upon arrival, Bone locks eyes with Angela, James's girlfriend, immediately arousing James's suspicion. James shows off his collection of samurai swords, only for Bone to comment on his supposed lack of skill with blades. James then proposes a $5 million fight against an undefeated champion, promising Bone a one-way ticket to the easy life. Bone, ever enigmatic, says he'll think about it. Noticing Bone's persistent glances at Angela, James sends her to persuade him. Instead, Angela points a gun at Bone, revealing their shared past. Bone's late friend, Danny, was her husband, framed and taken out by none other than James. Angela, now a captive, has been searching for her lost son. Bone, assuming the role of knight in shining armor, knows the boy's whereabouts and takes Angela to rehab and emotional reunion. Meanwhile, James, the epitome of charm, offers Franklin $5 million for the coveted fight. Franklin, channeling his inner prejudice, initially refuses but eventually agrees. As the fight approaches, Roberto, a neighbor and unhappy witness to James's extracurricular activities, turns up dead, leaving Tamara, his partner, devastated. Bone, connecting the dots, realizes James's henchmen are responsible. James, ever the master of timing, interrupts Tamara's morning session to pressure Bone into fighting. Bone refuses, leading James to threaten Tamara and the children she shelters. After James leaves, Bone advises Tamara to seek temporary refuge, to which she reluctantly agrees, but not without expressing her desire for Bone to be gone when she returns. James sends his enforcer, Hammerman, to locate Bone. After a brief and one-sided confrontation, Bone takes out Hammerman and the rest of James's goons. In a surprising twist, Pinball, previously the comic relief, takes out Teddy. Bone then taunts James over the phone, promising a personal visit. James, in a move straight out of the villain manual, sends his location and arranges for the fight to happen immediately. At Franklin's mansion, amid a gathering of the city's elite, Bone faces the undefeated champion. After a display of martial arts skills that would make Bruce Lee nod in approval, Bone gains the upper hand but deliberately throws the fight, causing James to lose his massive bet. Enraged, James attacks Bone with a sword, only to discover that Bone's earlier humility was a bluff. Bone disarms him, cutting James's hand in the process. When the police arrive, Bone makes a quick exit, leaving James to face the consequences. Angela, now clean, reunites with her son at Tamara's house. Tamara, recognizing Bone's role in their reunion, understands his intentions. Angela invites Bone to stay, but he declines, saying his mission is complete. After bidding farewell to Angela, her son, and Pinball, Bone departs, vowing never to fight again. Meanwhile, James finds himself in prison, receiving a less than warm welcome from fellow inmates, courtesy of Franklin's influence. Karate master Fumio Demura makes a special cameo during the final fight scene, sitting next to Bob Wall. If I were Bone, I wouldn't underestimate James's capacity for revenge, especially given his track record. I'd prioritize the safety of loved ones before confronting a dangerous adversary like James. Bone's strategic surrender during the fight to ensure James's financial ruin highlights his tactical brilliance, emphasizing that victory isn't solely about physical strength. Now, don't forget to check out this video on your screen. It's fantastic. See you there.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect.